Hey crew, it's Pitt, and I'm back with part two of I Hope You Brought Your Boots, because we're going to step on some toes. Next up in the series of American Hollow, right? How far are we in? Like 30 minutes, 25 minutes, something like that? Uh, the next part, they're going to be dealing with some religious issues, and we're going to be dealing with some more substance parts issues, and we'll see where the next natural break is, and hopefully there's some value for you here. I'm not intentionally trying to hurt anybody's feelings by this, but there is a mindset out there that we have it the worst. There's nobody out there that has it worse than we do, and everybody shares that. Like, everybody believes they have it the worst, except for the people who aren't living like this. And when I'm talking about these people think that they have it the worst. You've seen several examples of that, and it's going to get a lot. Like, we just got through the happy part of this documentary. We just got through the happy part of these people's lives for this 1 year that they followed them. And so, get ready. Like, we're about to see some more mindset, and we're going to see a lot more mindset, and there's going to be more examples in this next part because they've loosened up. They're comfortable with the camera crew in a way that they weren't before. So we're going to get to see more. Let's dig in. They're about to go into the church right here. Let's back it up so we can get the church name. How about that? The Pentecostal Holiness Church of God. Let's dig in. Let's look at this church. We did this at going out. We're going to do it coming in. You see the stuff stacked up right here. We see stuff on the ground right here. We see stuff back over here. This is not stewardship. This is not the church doing what the church should be doing. We got trash over here. But they all got their skirts on. They wearing skirts. They ain't no women gonna be wearing no breeches around here. Jesus sit down the door. That's why I'm preaching Jesus tonight, because the Bible says that no man can come to the Father except they come through Jesus. Ain't you glad you know the truth tonight? I grew up, my grandma went to several different churches. One of the ones we went to was Brother Hoyt's church, and it was very much like this. It was a little bit bigger, but it wasn't much. The girl got pipes. First off, we're going to talk about something, right? Not every stereotype is undeserving. Ain't none of them got rhythm. They all three clapping on a different part of the song. All three of them. But not every stereotype is undeserving. You can change that. You can learn rhythm. You can be the exception to the rule. It doesn't mean that the rule is necessarily wrong. Some of them are. Some of them aren't. But anyway, if you know anything at all about psychology and the way that this particular part of worship works, right? That beat, the cadence, the excitement, the movement, the way that you're oxygenating yourself in a way that you normally don't, because most people don't breathe fully. They breathe shallowly, and it's a whole thing, but it stimulates a part of your mind. It's part of the activation of the pineal gland. Is actually the breath extensions. And when you're singing in this manner with the excitement and the fervor, you fill up your lungs. And there's an energy center right here that becomes full with the extension of your lungs. And when you push it out, you push that energy up through your pineal gland. It's a very real thing. The process by which energy moves in your body is a very real thing. And so that's what happens right here. When these people have these religious episodes, and some of them probably are genuine. talking in tongues is an absolute real thing. And 99% of Pentecostals have never done it. Because it is not just babbling for the sake of babbling. It is a genuine spiritual talk with the Creator Himself in a way that you cannot express yourself. The Bible says that there will be an interpreter for everyone who talks in terms. I don't necessarily believe with that because it is a spiritual conversation. I believe that if there is a message that you are intended to give through the gift of tongues, then there will be someone who understands it when no one else does. When it doesn't make sense to anyone, there will be an interpreter to the Word of God that this guy gives and doesn't even know what it means. And this guy knows what it means and doesn't understand the language. That is a real thing. But most of the time, actual physical talking in tongues is a step of faith, much in the way that the sinner's prayer is a step of faith. It is an acceptance of a thing, and that thing is that there is a God and that I have a direct communication with Him. And the spirit that overcomes you and flows out of you in that moment is an uncontrollable thing. You're not, they do that. Like, we're going to see examples of that. And I want to point it out before we get there so that when you see it, you can see it. I know that some of the people that watch me probably go to churches like this. Most of the people who are there are putting on a show for you. That is real. That is not to say that they don't believe in God. Some of them do. It does not to say that they're not genuine in their efforts. It is the way that they were raised. It is a mindset. And it is holding back the actual fulfillment of the power of God to put the limitations upon Him that these doctrines do. All right, now we're going to watch this because this is an example of mindset. This is a religious mindset. This is, yeah. Laying on of hands is not something to be trifled with. It is a real, powerful, holy thing that actually works, but is not to be trifled with. Not to be trifled with. That right there was fake. I don't know how to tell you how I know that, but I can recognize that. This whole interaction right there. What happens, what he does and what she does. He does that so she knows to do that. And that is not real. That is not God really moving. It is not. This is another example. I'm stepping on toes. I told y'all to wear your boots. This is another example of somebody putting on a show for you. That is not to say that you cannot be overwhelmed. David danced for the Lord because of his overwhelming joy. And that's not to say that there are not genuine examples of the Lord taking over your body in ways that you cannot explain or you cannot do. But what this woman is doing right here is drawing attention to herself. She does that through her song. She has pipes. She is singing in a genuine way, but she is doing that to draw attention to herself as much as this is. It's not necessarily a bad thing to draw attention to yourself. If you are an example, then yes, draw attention to yourself. But make sure that you are genuine in your efforts. When she's singing, she's genuinely in her efforts with God. When she gets out here and runs, that's for the congregation. Because watch this corner right here. You see her? This right here tells you, you know, God don't need to put his hand out like this. You saw that? We're going to back it up. Whoop. God don't need to do that. God will turn you on a dime, bro. Your body's out of your control. And I know that sounds petty to say. I know it sounds like, oh my God, I cannot believe Pitt just said that. And there's going to be a lot of things. You're going to be like, I cannot believe Pitt just said that. That's who I am. It's the reason why people can't hang around me. And I'm a nice guy. I do anything for you. But I don't tolerate bullshit at all. And so people who bullshit don't come around me, and everybody bullshits. So it's mainly just me and my family.
Too many things happening.
Just jumping in a circle right here. Like, that's for the congregation. You ain't doing that for God. You're not. And you can take offense with that. I'm sorry. I'm really not trying to offend anyone. But this mindset right here, this mindset that I'm putting on a show for my peers and I'm going to pretend that it's for God, is detrimental to your spiritual health.
I'm just...
And if you don't believe that, look at Jesus' parable of the woman with the one talent. Or she gave her last penny. Right? The Pharisees went up, look at me, I'm throwing money in. And she went up with that last penny. She put it in there with nobody watching. It's the only thing she had. There's a difference.
Thinking that things will have to go a lot better for me. I can't stay all the time stressed out and depressed and worried over people, over the children.
After 17 days, all of the charges against Edgar were dropped, and he was released from jail. His arrest was the result of a mistaken identity. Now, I'm sure that there were some strings pulled somewhere, somehow, to make that happen. It is not necessarily monetary compensation sometimes to get charges dropped, right? Sometimes it's not that to get them put on you. I'm not saying even that it was unjust. What I am saying is that this man admitted to his mama from his own mouth that he was there on the property when he wasn't supposed to be, and that he walked around the corner when the man called him out, so he was not in the car. That has been his statement. It is a mindset of untruth going forward. It is not only his mindset, but his family's mindset and the people around him, that I've never known him to do nothing like that, so therefore he can't never have done nothing like that. We see this repeatedly elsewhere, a lot during the lead up to the 2020 election, and the lead up to the 2016 election, and the lead up to the 2012 election. And there's a cycle there if you look at it. We're coming up on the next one. We're about a year, maybe a year and a half away from the next one ramping up, really ramping up. But not all justice is fair. That is a real thing, and it is something that I fight against. And I do not ever mean for it to seem like I do not say that injustices do not, or that I do say that injustices do not happen, because I am very aware that yes, they do happen. Yes, sometimes they are racially motivated. Not most of the time, despite what the media would have you think. The representation in the crime statistics are a real thing. And so some of that is unjust persecution, and some of that is people getting out when they shouldn't have. And some of that is race-based, and some of it is class-based. And all of these things can be true, and we can still try to focus on the better parts of it, because most of the interactions are actually peaceful, calm, normal interactions. There are a lot, probably too many, of the interactions that are not peaceable, that are not just. And I think we should hold to the highest standard possible the police officers in charge of that situation. And if they are found to be proven wrong doing something, then they should face the charges that they were trying to give somebody every time, no matter what it is. I really do believe that. And they don't get parole. They don't get that possibility. They are held for the full maximum sentence of whatever the charge would have been that they were trying to set somebody up for. I really believe that should happen. I really do. Because it will cut down on things where insurance and all that other shit is not going to do it. But if they're facing the jail time that they're trying to pin on somebody else, if they get caught, they are going to stop doing that shit. And it doesn't matter what their other motivation is, right? Let's fix the whole system in a way that actually works. I say that what we should do is have an independent review board, drawn like our jury pool is drawn, to review every single police interaction that has violence involved. Every one of them. I think that every single police officer in the whole United States should be held to the highest standard and have a camera that must be active. And if it's not active, then they are held liable for those charges. That's going to stop a lot of shit, I promise you. I think we should do that. I really do. I think that the police and the teachers should be the highest paid, best trained, most accountable positions that we have. They are our only line of defense against all of the horrors that could come. Yes, we can defend ourselves, but if we don't have a sheriff, right? The sheriff is literally the only constitutional law enforcement out there. Literally the only one. It's written in the Constitution for sheriffs. It's not for police or chiefs or FBIs or any of the letters. And so that we should, if we don't have a sheriff who is actually for justice, that is our fault because we're not holding them accountable for that. I think there should be more accountability, better training. It should be the hardest job to get. It should be what everybody trying to be a doctor, they should be trying just as hard to be a police officer. And it should be harder to be a police officer than a doctor. I really do believe that. I really do believe they should be paid better. I really do believe they should have better benefits. But I really do believe they should be held to the highest scrutiny possible. Have the independent review board for every single violent interaction. Every single one. And if the police are found at fault, then maximize the sentence every time with no possibility for parole or probation. The whole sentence every time. That will stop some things. I know that was a really long rant and we got a long way to go in this movie, but that all needed to be said. That could be the house I grew up in. It really could.
How long had you been in jail?
17 days.
That ain't long till you in jail.
I got
He's trying to justify his son being in jail. Like he was proud of it earlier, though. He'd been in jail 3 times.
used to it though.
And now he's lying. He got used to it, though. Bro, you are way too soft to be used to prison. I promise you that.
I want to go back.
I say
That's a damn lie. You lied to your sister's face or whoever's face.
5 days, as long as I stay. I was drunk, trying to whoop the law.
See that mindset? You see it, huh?
I was mean back then.
I grew up in that mindset.
I guess that's where he could take his night.
Edgar, how many times you went to church since you come home? You said you was going to take the baby, Rita, and start going to church.
Ain't that time.
You had
Plenty of
time?
time.
No, I ain't.
You're
Go to
supposed
church
take
on
time.
Sunday. You got plenty of time.
If Rita won't go, you take Brittany and you
Yeah.
just go to
Well,
church.
Mommy, I can't leave the house that young.
You should have stayed out of trouble
Yeah.
and been at home with the family
That is the absolute truth.
instead of out running the roads.
Absolute truth.
I don't want him in jail, but he's fixing to go back.
See, I'm smarter than that.
That is also a mindset. Do not ever, and this is going to come off wrong to some people, but do not ever curse your children. What she just did is cursing her own blood. You are speaking into existence a bane upon your own child.
I don't want him in jail, but he's fixing to go back.
And she doesn't mean it like that. She's not being mean or vile, right? She could have phrased it differently. I'm worried that he's going to go back. I'm scared that he's going to go back. Is not the same as saying he is going to go back. There is a phonetic difference there. There is an intentionality difference there, even if you don't intend it. Everything that comes forth from you shapes things around you.
See, I'm smarter than that.
No, you're not. If you were smarter than that, you wouldn't have been on a man's property in the middle of the night. You have a problem. The first step is admitting that you have a problem.
So we'll sit in this house, he'll be in jail for another month.
She just spoke something else into existence.
Too much going on.
And she knows, like she knows he's doing dirty stuff. She knows he's running with the wrong crowd. She knows that somebody he knows probably leaned on the witness or the homeowner to say, oh no, it was somebody else. Because that criminality, things happen like that when you're a criminal. I can't tell you any specific instances of where maybe some witnesses change their mind, but it does happen.
Ready? All right, turn them loose. Come on, Jerry. Backing up all around the house, all around the house.
In the evening when everything was still, how you said it, listen.
It's the little things, man. Look at the yard as these kids go through. Like these kids, my heart goes out to them because they don't know what they're lacking. Like this kid right here, he doesn't know any different than what he is. He doesn't know that he's lacking anything. And he is just excited to go hunt eggs with his family, right? But look at where they're at. Look at where they're living. Like this is their property that they're stewarding.
To the box town, there you want to where? In the old Kentucky hills. How the way back to the old barn, the road winds on up the hill. But there's a light in the window that shines long ago when I live. But there's a light in the window that shine long ago where I live.
When I go to the house, I'll hunt up the material and I'll cut you a whole top out like this. She's the only one of the daughter-in-laws that has even took interested in doing this.
She taught me.
I've taught her this.
See ya, Jeremy's home.
These are my favorite quilts that she makes.
These are her first block.
And these are the first ones I've ever made.
My great-grandmother quilted and wove blankets from sheep wool. They've made their own quilts and blankets. And then my grandmother, she done the same thing, quilting, made their own bed covers. And then Mommy, she done the same thing. So I'm doing it. And then Ruthie and my daughter and Renee, my daughter-in-law. I guess 'cause it's from generation down.
Those are some beautiful words. Like, they really are. Look at the opportunity there. Like, value added, this is a value added product, right? And she has a whole line full of these. She makes these for fun. She does this for fun.
Nobody's bought any of them lately. Just about 7 years ago, I sold some of them.
But I bet we loaded up this truck here in the back with a few of them, and you went to a farmer's market. They had farmers markets even in the 90s, especially in rural areas. I bet you could have found somebody to buy one a week, two a week, right? It's the little hustles that are going to pull you out. This woman works. Like, I'm not trying to take away from her, but her sons, Lonzo, right? Lonzo with the Prozac, could load up once a week for the weekend, take the quilts that his mama makes, and go sell them, and they split it. And it would help both of them rise up. But instead, he'll go out here and pick some moss when he needs to get a fix. Like, that's what that breaks down to. Because I guarantee you, like, yeah, he made good money for then and the area. He's making good money picking ginseng. But take this 2 hours into the bigger town and make more money. Like that quilt right there, nowadays would probably run $80 to $90, right? That's what he got for the ginseng. And I mean, back then it wouldn't have been the same price. We ain't gonna get into that, but for real though, like it was still, even at $20, if you go and you sell 2 or 3, right? Gas was under $1 back then. Like at 99, it was right at $1. It was right at $1. So for $2 or $3 you can drive to town, and then for $2 or $3 you drive back. So say you have to sell 1 blanket to turn over at $20 to break even with your gas and your food or whatever it takes. And so if you sell 2, you're making a profit, and if you sell 3, you're doing great. I guarantee you that there's a market somewhere for them quilts. I guarantee it. I bet that her daughter-in-law who lives there, and her daughter who lives there, could probably turn out 3 a week, right? That's income. That is something.
Our school system sucks. I know kids that graduated that don't know nothing. Don't know nothing about anything.
He's right. He's right. He is.
There's nothing here for children.
Nothing.
And there is a lot of kids around here that's got their high school diploma, and they're doing nothing.
I know some kids that graduated high school and still can't read.
They've got no jobs.
Can't get married unless I got a job.
I'm Clint's girlfriend.
One of the worst pestilences that we have is our over-sexualization. Like, I talk about that one a lot because that one's affected my life personally a lot. And this thought of that marriage is going to make it right. Marriage is a wonderful thing. I have been with my wife for 23 years now. Since we met the year that this movie was made. It was the year I met my wife. And so marriage is a wonderful thing. It is a blessing from God when you have a helpmate to make you better in the person that you are trying to become. That is what marriage is supposed to be. It is a flesh of my flesh. It is not, most times, high school loves, high school crushes, all of these things. It's a little bit concerning, but not really, that neither one of my children have had a real relationship. But they have high standards. And I'm glad. Like, I want my children to have the highest standard. I do not ever want my daughter to take a hand from anyone. I do not want my son to take a hand from anyone, right? I don't want them to be verbally abused. I want them to have the highest of standards. And because they do, they don't date. I have faith that God will bring them who they need when they need it. That was an intentionality in the parenting that I had. Like, I made a promise to my daughter when she was 4 or 5. I don't even know if she remembers it, but I do. I told her that until she found the partner that God had for her, that I would be the man in her life. And I have kept that promise every single day of her life. It's the same for my son. I am the father for them. Like, I know that I have succeeded as a father. I know that I have broken the chain and the cycle that we're about to see, was my life, right? I was Clint to a large degree. The anger issues, the sexual issues, the parent that's not there and not a parent, and all of these things. I identify with Clint more than anybody out of all of this. So let's talk about it.
She lives in Hazard and goes to school. She wants to get out and go to college.
It'll be a radiologist or a nurse.
I got her in the room alone, and I just got on my knees and asked her, and she said yeah.
He said, will you marry me now?
He's about to graduate high school, and she's still in high school.
I said, yeah.
Mommy's afraid she'll break my heart again.
She will.
She won't. She knows better.
It's his choice. If he wants to get married, fine. But it's not going to be easy for him. I've tried to explain that. It's not going to be easy. You have to have a job. You have to have...
Don't be your daddy.
a car, insurance, you know, you have to have it. A place to live. It takes a lot to make it work.
The main thing is I need to get a job. I know it's going to be hard and expensive. I know it's going to be hard and expensive. But as long as she's happy and I'm happy, that's all I care.
Number one, put on some eyeglasses, please. Like, it doesn't have to be safety glasses for this, but cover your eyes.
Thank you.
Will $25 be enough?
That's fine.
Oh, okay. You sure that's enough?
If that's what you think I worked out, then...
Well, I am.
Don't ever be this guy either. Know your value, right? If you're providing a service, know what the service goes for. And don't be ashamed to provide that service for the price that it goes for. Imposter syndrome is a very real thing. The feeling that I'm not worth the money that this job is a real thing. Even if you are. If you're diligent and you do the job well, then you're worth the money to be paid for.
I don't know. I didn't work.
But that puts her in a very awkward position because she doesn't know what to pay you. You, as the owner, like, he could have a very lucrative business doing what he was just doing. People do not like weed eating up the side of a hill. And so you can make good money at it.
How about I just give you 30? That'll be over $5 an hour.
That'll be over $5 an hour. So he just spent almost 6 hours, or at least 5, but probably 6, closer to 6, weed eating up the side of a hill, right? For $5 an hour. And he could go pick some ginseng. But if he knew its value, and he went in and he was like, we're going to say $10 an hour. This lady would pay $10 an hour for somebody to do that. She's set up well. She doesn't mind helping. So she'll pay that. That's what the market value would be. He's underselling himself by saying, I don't know what to charge. He's underselling himself by not knowing the market, right? We see more examples of him underselling himself as we go forward. And that is because of the structure of his family. It is because his grandfather never held a job. It's because his father has been on Prozac his entire life. Okay? So he doesn't know hustle. He doesn't know this thing. It's a foreign concept. It is a mindset. And yet he's still out there trying to make money. Yes, he's got a goal. Yes, he's trying to achieve that goal. But he still has the mindset of, I'm not worth it. And we're going to see why.
That's fine.
Okay.
That'll get me to the store to get something for me and my woman to eat this weekend. Maybe. Gotta buy some pop, chips, whatever personal thing she needs. You know. But
Sure.
you know, I'm getting married next summer.
Oh, what is she going to do? No.
She's going on to school.
Okay, why can't you go on to school?
But that's not what I'm saying. Who's going to support her while I'm in school? Nobody.
Who's going to support her while
Nobody.
she's in school?
That's.
She's trying to save your life, little brother.
See, I will. That's my problem. I can't go to school to make money that I need
both
now.
of you are.
The worst word in the human language is can't. Because whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. And if you think you can't, you never will. Remove that word from your vocabulary. I'm not saying literally never say the word can't. But when you're talking about yourself, absolutely take it out. You have to speak your life. You have to speak the life you want. And to say I can't do it is to limit yourself off the top. It is to say that I will never achieve this. Don't ever do that to yourself.
I can get grants
Now,
to go
see,
to
I
school.
could go back later.
Then you can both get grants to go to school. That's what she just said. And that's a real thing. Scholarships, even then, this was before the big push with the student loans. But even back then, there were rural scholarships. There are in-state scholarships. There are several different professional corporations that sponsor underprivileged people, even in rural areas of the United States. There are options that are hard to find, and you have to work to get, but you can get them. Back then, you could really work and go to school and pay for it in real time.
Maybe, but I need.
No.
You're not listening to
Yes,
me.
I am. You won't go back later, though. You won't.
And you will never go back later. Like some people will. Some people absolutely will. Due to a life-changing experience, they will fall back and go back to school. But when you graduate from high school, if you don't go, you're probably not going to go.
Won't go back later.
There's not just me. I got cousins right now that they can't get nothing done because
It's a mindset.
they ain't got nobody that's gonna help them.
There's that mindset. I need somebody to help me find my hustle.
I tell you the best way it works, it works.
And there'll never be nothing.
Open your mouth and talk to people. If you won't hardly talk, you can't.
Buddy, I have talked.
But you can't hardly get
See, that's what
nobody.
everybody wants to say, that I don't try to do shit around here, and I fucking try. Until you can say you're gonna help me, you can't fucking say nothing.
I bought my own ride when I was 18.
Yeah, well that's y'all.
That's an abusive interaction. The father really believes he is doing a good thing by pointing that out, but he's not. The child is already irate because he feels incompetent. He feels like he's being aggressed upon. I think that's his aunt, but he feels that way. She's not. She's trying to save his life. But he feels like she's aggressing him and accusing him of not doing because of his girlfriend. And then the dad chimes in with the snide content. The dad that he can't get the attention from because he's on Xanax. Or, no, it wasn't Xanax then, it was Prozac.
Well, I don't want to be like him. Sure, he got his own ride when he was 18 and he ain't doing nothing now. Except living month to month of getting a check, digging roots. That's a great living, ain't it? And every one of my uncles, except a couple, is doing the same damn thing. Nothing.
It's a mindset. It's a generational curse. It really is. And it is not restricted to anybody. It is a generational mindset. It is a generational curse. And it is up to you to be the broken link in that chain. I broke many links. There's probably many links that I didn't know about. But I broke addiction. I broke depression and repression of feelings. I broke an absentee father. I broke my children not feeling loved. I broke them not knowing their family. I broke the chains. I set my children free. That was my goal. That was what I wanted. As long as I can remember, I wanted to be a daddy. Because I didn't have one, right? So I wanted to show how to do it right, and I have. I've got great kids. They're maybe not as motivated as I'd like. That's got more to do with their types. And anyway, generational curses are real. This whole family is caught up in a curse of sloth, of greed, of what else we got? Despair. We got wrath. Well, we're going to see wrath here in just a minute. Gluttony. We see all 7 personified here. We're not seeing a whole lot of temperance or chastity, charity, hope. We see some love. We do see some love. We don't see much diligence, and we don't see a whole lot of humbleness, right?
And they'll never do nothing except stay on this damn creek or what.
And there you go, speaking of curse.
Whatever you want to call this place.
But he ain't wrong. Like, they've already made up their minds that they ain't got no reason to do nothing else. It is sloth, exemplary of sloth.
Ain't never been no jobs here. This place is
Took a boat and
just a
precinct
hole in
away
the
from
wall. Right there's the only way you can live. Go out there and raise some food and live. That's it. Wait for a little government check to come in. So I got out of here. I never want to come back here and live.
Oh, yes,
Just to visit. And when Mom and Daddy's gone, that's it.
Breaking chains. Maybe not in the best way, but in the best way he can.
I'll stay here a while.
She'll die right here in this hole. She'll never live nowhere else.
Maybe not.
I've never found no better hole to live in right here.
Maybe not.
I was always wishing one of my uncles to say, let me take you, because I'd have sure went.
Good.
Hey, Clintus.
That's what Dave said.
I want to talk to you a little bit later. Clintus could have saved himself a long time ago by getting away. You know, he's not a bad boy. He just needs to get away from all this. That's what he needs. He knows what he needs. He don't need nobody to tell him that. There's nothing here for him.
Truth. He's very uncomfortable saying that. I recognize the symptoms of uncomfortable, right? I go through them a lot. And so he's very uncomfortable saying that because he knows his family's listening to him. He knows that they know that he's judging them. Sometimes judgment is not unwarranted, as long as your measuring cup is properly filled, right? As long as you got that mote from your own eye before you start trying to find planks. Or I might have got that backwards, but as long as you're taking care of your business, then yeah, maybe it's okay to judge a little bit. Not to be judgy, but to push just a little bit. But he genuinely wants, like it seems like he genuinely wants his nephew to succeed, and he recognizes the one thing, right? There's only one guy in this whole hollow that even acts like he wants something different.
Won't you come up? Stay with me a while. See if you can't find you something to do in Cincinnati. It ain't gonna hurt to come up and stay and see what you want to do. Might just do that. If her mom says she can come, she's welcome to come too.
See them eyes? This little bitch is shady.
If her mom says she can come, she's welcome to come too.
You see that? She ain't planning on sticking around.
Well, they just ain't no opportunities down here, man. Buddy, I know. Somebody offers you a hand, a chance to take something. Just take the chance. I mean, you ain't gonna lose nothing. You can always come back home with your tail between your legs. Yeah. I'm going home. I've lost.
Going home, I've lost. He's trying to break a chain.
Nobody, like I said, nobody never offered me. If you ain't wanting them for you, there ain't no use me asking you or offering it for you. You gotta want it. You wanna come out and try it? You can come out. We'll see what we can do. All right. We gotta get ready for bed and stuff. Ain't you cold?
something hurt.
Well, thanks, David. I'll think about that. Well, ain't no hurry. Whenever you ready. You see, Dave, Rennie. Bye, Mama, Papa. He thinks a whole lot like I do. For him to come and offer me a chance like that no one else around here would, made me feel like at least someone wants to give somebody else a chance.
Should have jumped on that with both feet. Let me look real quick and see where we're at time-wise, because we're coming up on the next stop point, and I think that's a good one. I know this is going to be a long series, y'all, and I'm sorry, but we need to go through this because there is still several examples of things that we need to talk about. There is still several things coming that we haven't even touched on yet, and it's going to be a lot of toes getting stepped on more. Like, there wasn't a whole lot of toes to get stepped on this one, but we're going to get into some toes on the next one. And so we're going to go ahead and stop this one here, and we're going to go ahead and wrap this up because we're 45 minutes in. I hope that y'all are getting some value out of this. I hope that I'm bringing just a little bit of knowledge and exposing something that most people don't even know exists. If you live in a major city, and most people do, then you don't know about this life. You know your poor life. You know it very well. But this poor life is hidden. It's not seen. And not in this manner. Like you see it when a tornado comes through and people with teeth fucked up like mine come in. But other than that, like you don't see this part of America represented. These people don't have running water. These people barely have electricity. They don't have cars. They exist off of welfare and food stamps. That this is something that people don't acknowledge at all. This is the face of rural America. Still today, for large chunks of it. Like here in Louisiana, there's large, like stretches of highway that is this exact same thing. Not even getting onto the back roads where it is like this and worse. So, anyway, to the crew, thanks for hanging out. We'll pick this back up in a little bit. But I appreciate every single minute that you were here with me. And I am praying for you every single day. Till next time, this has been pittstake. Peace.